Hey, what's up, team? It's Joe Mill here with Killer Miller Q. We back at it again. It's time for another good cook. We're getting ready for Easter, and I want to do a little something different than your traditional prime rib. I'm actually doing a New York strip roast. Huh? Come on. We're going to make this thing happen. We're going to be making some steaks. We're going to be using the griddle. I think you're going to like today's cook. Switching it up a little bit, trying to put in a little something different for you. Hold tight, and let's get to the work. Okay, we got a couple announcements to make before we jump into this thing. I want to take a quick second thanking all of y'all. We almost at 500, and let me tell you, it's been a beautiful experience. We ain't been doing this that long, but the love, the support, all the comments, I hear you. It's great to keep me busy and keep me up at night, and I like that. Also want to give you a quick update. I'm going to have a new project coming out soon. The YouTube world has been blessing us, and I've met a lot of good people, and we got a whole lot of good projects going on the back end. Big shout out to my boys over there at PostSmoke Barbecue. You're going to see a little bit about that, and you get into this conversation with some other pit masters. I know you're going to like that, but before we get into this cook, I need to let you see how we got here, and then we'll move forward. Hold up. All right, team. First thing in the morning, for my workout, my baby soccer game, we're going to get this thing lightly trimmed up. We are looking at about 5 pounds of a New York strip roast. So basically, we're looking at a giant New York strip. This is basically what they're going to be cutting to make individual steaks. This is what we're going to be cooking today. A little something different for the holiday. Everybody's usually going for the rib roast, but I feel like I just had prime rib not that long ago and didn't quite want to do any pork. So I had this baby, I caught it on sale, and wanted to jump off. It's messed up when you call sale $5.77 a pound, but I mean, these days meat prices is high. So we're going to pull this thing out. We're going to make something happen. Not a whole lot to do. I'll let you check it out. This is actually choice grade. Turn over. We got a lot of good marbling all through here. So the first thing that I want to do is get this baby cleaned up a little bit. There's a lot of fat on here, and some of this is pretty hard. So you already know the drill. We want to clean some of that up. I do see some silver skin here. Because I am going to be smoking this, I don't want to take off all of this fat. Because really, when you look at New York strips, you do get some marbling throughout the meat. But definitely, you really usually just have this level or this layer of fat on the outside. And this is I'm going fat side down, so that's going to be my little protecting layer. So I'm just going to bring this down so I can let a little bit of this rub sit in and sink in. Basically, I'm going to be letting this baby sit for about 4 hours or so, all seasoned up in the refrigerator before we actually get it on. Bam. And that's what we got. Probably don't look like I did too much, but basically, all I did was I wanted to bring this layer down to be a little bit more even, cut off a little bit of this exterior additional loose fat and everything to kind of expose everything so I can get me some semi-bark all the way around. But like I said, I wanted to keep me a decent amount of fat on here. Flip this thing over a little bit just to kind of protect it all. I'm gonna get out the way so you don't get too much of my shadow on there. But this is a good cut of meat. It's got a lot of flavor in there, as you see all that nice fat all throughout. And then I kept this just so you would see what it looked like. This actually looks like a ton of fat. But keep in mind, I got a pretty sharp boning knife, and I kind of just shaved it off of there. But, man, some of this stuff is getting, it's warm out here, so this stuff's already getting loosened up. But some of this was pretty hard. I didn't need this much fat on there, right? So I just went ahead and dropped it down a little bit level. So this is what we're going to do. Let's get into the seasoning. Basically, we're going to be using this Cosmos line. I'm going to start with a little bit of that Texas beef. And then we're going to come over the top with the old cow cover. Now, here goes a little tip for you. This is the same thing when you out there doing shopping and you're looking at your food and everything else. When you look at your ingredient list, if you don't know, that first ingredient lets you know that's what it's got the most of. And it keeps going from there. So I'm going to be using 2 rubs. You see salt is the second one on here. And you see on this one, salt is the first. 2 rubs that's got salt in it. So you want to be careful that you don't over salt your meat. So I'm going to be coming through with the Texas beef. Semi-light. Just want it to be a solid cover all the way around. Excuse me. And then I want to go ahead and I'm coming over with that cow cover. Give me a nice little bit of color. And I'm also like that chilies and everything on there. I'm not using any binder or anything. I'm already sweating out pretty good, and this is going to be sitting in the fridge for about another 4 hours. Let's season this baby up. There it is. Nothing too crazy. Like I said, pretty light on the first level or first layer of the Texas beef Cosmo rub. Came over and got me a little bit of color all over. And you know, big decent sized piece of meat. Like I said, we were looking at about 5 pounds. I wanted to make sure we hit all the sides. Get that flavor all the way around. And rubbed it around in there so we can also kind of get some of that stuff off the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, and we're gonna let this hang out for about 4 hours, or you could have did it overnight. Get that flavor in there all the way to the bottom, and we'll come back later and we'll get everything going. Okay, that's better. Now you know where we at. Now you know how we got here. This baby already smells amazing. Like I said earlier, I got this seasoned up first thing in the morning. It's been resting in the refrigerator for roughly 4 or 5 hours. And then from there, I've already brought it up, started letting it come up to temperature. And I tell you what, smells great. You can tell that that rub has kind of marinated all into the meat as it looks a little bit darker. We went with the light application of this Texas beef on this Cosmos dry rub. And then we also came over the top with a little bit of this cow cover that's giving it this pretty color. So this is our plan today on this cook. I wanted to do something that I haven't seen a whole lot on YouTube, and then plus I haven't used it myself, which is the griddle. We're gonna start off, I'm gonna smoke this at about 250. We're still using oak. I'm gonna hold on, my assuming this is probably gonna be roughly around 2 hours. I'm gonna take this internal temperature. For me, I'm more of a medium well type of guy, so I'm gonna go to about 140 degrees. And then from there, what I'm gonna do is, remember, this is nothing but a giant slab of New York strip, shall we say. So I'm gonna cut me some New York strips. I'm a steak man. And what I'm gonna do from there is I'm gonna actually go to the griddle. We're gonna be sauteing some onions, and I'm also gonna give me a little bit of sear off on these steaks here. So that's the plan. About 2 hours in the smoke, we'll chop it, we'll go over, we make some onions, we'll sear it up. How bad could it be? Hold tight, I'm gonna bring you in here so you can check this thing out now that it's all seasoned up, and we're going to the pit. All right, here's my close-up. Like I said, we got a nice little reddish cover from that cow cover that was on the top. And other than that, you can see the meat is darkened up as it's really been accepting this. I should get flavor all the way through. So that's what we're looking at. Cosmo's gonna come through again. Pit's almost at 250. And we on. Yes, yes, y'all. You know what time it is. We got it fired up. All right, we bunched it together so that way it's nice and tight. We sitting right on top. The one thing I want to do is I'm gonna go ahead and throw me my probe in. And I'm pretty much going more or less dead center, right? Make sure you don't go too deep. And that way we can kind of monitor this thing. And we're gonna put it to bed. We'll come back and check on you in about an hour. Night, night. So we about an hour in. My temperatures kicked up in the very beginning, so I ended up a little higher to start off than the 250 I was shooting to shoot for. Now it's calming back down. But truthfully, probably won't be too much longer. Like I said, I was assuming this should only be about 2 hours. I just want to give it just a little bit so it don't die in there. You know what spritz I like using on my beef? Same as before, which is the 50-50 Worcestershire and beef broth. And a little bit of oil on there, in there too, just to kind of mix it up. So we starting to get a little bit of good color. I'm gonna rotate this baby just so the other side's getting some love, and then we're gonna let it keep on going. I'll bring you back when we're about ready. Hey, what's up, team? I want to jump in here real quick and tell you thanks for following along. If you're new to the channel, take a second, go to that bottom right corner, make sure that you like and subscribe, check out some of the other cooks that's on the channel. And then for everybody that's been kicking it with me, I appreciate you. Let's keep pushing. We almost at 500 subscribers and we only moving forward. Big things coming. Hold tight, let's get back to the work. All right, team, I wanted to bring you back so you can check something out. We've been smoking right along. I'm at about an hour and 35 minutes. And I saw pretty much 140 on the dial. It's even spiked a little more. And, you know, my color's looking pretty decent. I expected I was going to go a little bit longer. But like always, you always kind of check these things out. Wish I could find the same spot I had. So when I come in here with my other probe, 125, right? So that's why you always double check with another probe. That's why I like my handhelds and everything, the Minster reads. So not quite where I want to be. So like I said, I'm still shooting at about 2 hours, and I can see right there that that juice coming out of there is still pretty red. You probably can't see that too much on camera. There we go. So at the end of the day, Keep it going. Double check. Let's go. All right, team. 2 hours, 9 minutes. I was just finna say, I feel like even once I slipped it into that same hole that was probing before, at the lower temp, to switch it up, and I feel like even once it got in there, it still was a little bit high on the reading. It came out like a couple of degrees higher as what I just got on that Insta read. So I went ahead and rolled with it a little bit over the 140, but I knew it was probably gonna be about ready just because I could already see the color that we had last time. Check that out, baby. Check that out. We looking good. I'm gonna give it a little quick spritz, and this is what I'm about to do. I'm gonna let this thing rest for a half a second and hang out. Give it a little something just so it's got some moisture on it. And let this hang out. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start getting this griddle prepped up quick fast. Slide that in for a hot second while I show you the griddle. Because truthfully, your boy haven't even used it. I mean, we seasoned it up initially, but this thing needs some work. It's warm in here. Almost cussed. So we're gonna, you know what, I'm gonna start it off with a little bit of tallow, and then we're gonna cut the onions up real quick fast, and then we'll be right back at you. All right, I wanted to bring you back, show you how we're gonna get this thing ready. So this is what I'm thinking, this is what we're gonna do. We'll see how we come out. We got the onions. I'm gonna be using a little bit of butter on that. I wanna start it off with a little bit of tallow just to kind of re-season this thing, get a little more moisture on there. But first and foremost, I wanna kick up this fire. I'm gonna throw this big log on. Knock those down a little bit. Leave that open for a minute, make sure that catches up. So look at that baby over here resting. She is purty, and she leaking. Oh yeah, that's gonna be all right. That's gonna be all right. Let me get in there close. Tell you what, if you're not already, even if you don't got a griddle, oh my gosh, yes. Even if you don't got a griddle, I'm telling you, this is one of the best ways to handle your meat, shall we say, overall. So what I'm gonna do, open up this griddle. I'm gonna get a little bit of tallow on here, get this thing moist, move it all around, and then from there, I'm coming on with the onions on a little bit of butter, and then we'll be back to kind of slice that thing up and get us a couple over here to sear. All right, we got this thing piping hot. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start it off with a little bit of butter, and I can tell I'm on a little bit of a slope. See if I'll be able to do this kind of one-handed. Get some butter out there, and then we're gonna come over here with these onions that we threw on, and we'll start the saute game here. Do a few onions, not too many. Once I get these kind of going, we're gonna trim that steak up real quick and get us a couple slices of that. Sear me off a few, just so I can get me a nice little crust on it. We'll be ready to rock. This thing is cooking these babies fast. Put it right out there in the middle where that flame is probably at. You see, I got my, oh, they smell great. That didn't take long. I'll bring you back in a sec. All right, so I'll bring you in close, let you see this thing getting cut up a little bit. It's got a chance to rest, so hopefully we don't lose too much of the juice, but let's see what we got here. I brought out this other knife that I always forget that I got. We'll see if it's a little bit sharper. It should be like the brisket cutting knife here. We went through it pretty clean. All right, it looks good. I'm gonna make me a couple nice thick ones. Stay with me. And then these will be what we're gonna sear off, and let's take a peek at what we got in there.
That looks scary. This almost looks scary. That's scary.
All right. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give these babies about a good minute or so on each side. This thing is piping hot. I took those onions off and give them a little bit of this Texas beef seasoning, so they got a little something on them. I took the onions off because it didn't take nothing but probably a good minute with that big log that I threw on here for this to get up and ready. Wow, that smells great. Sorry, pardon my reach if I got you all in the camera. but I'm much better with my right hand than I am with my left. So there go my onions. And you can already see that that steak started to bubble up a little bit. And just so you know, the pit temperature says 275. I'm sure I should have brought my little laser read right over here. I'm sure this thing is screaming at much higher than that. Let's get a peek and just see where we at. Oh yeah, perfect. Look at that crust. I should have pushed it down a little bit. With that one. Oh man, this ain't even fair. We're gonna give this one about 45 seconds. We're pulling it. Let it rest and we get a taste. Okay. Alright, that's a wrap. I done lost all my daylight, but come on in here and check this thing out. So I'm gonna leave my loaf together. Normally I would have kept that down, but you know, I want to show you. Left my little barky piece. You know, for the people that like it medium rare-ish, it's still ready to go. I don't even need to tell you it's juicy. You can see my cutting board. Glad I got this cutting board. These grooves help out a ton. So normally you want to put this down just like that, like they do in the restaurants, and that'll help that from oxidizing too much, and it'll stay all pretty. These are the star of the show for me though. These are gonna be the ones that I seared off. You can check them out on both sides. Got me a nice steak, and I got me some onions, and that's only one thing I got left to do, which is we're gonna taste this bad baby. I'm gonna let these steaks rest. Now I'm gonna try not to just take the piece that I really want and make it more respectful so I can actually talk afterwards, and we'll do that right there. Let me get some. All right, can you see that one? You wanna come in close one more time? Check me out, we's nice and juicy. Got a little pink in there. Like I said, about medium well for me. That's how we do it. Hey, Killer Miller Q, stay tuned for PostSmoke barbecue. Let's figure out if this was even good. Whew. That thing is tender. Tenderoni. The only thing I would have done, or I will be doing, just like at the restaurant, salt it to taste. Right at the top, sprinkle with a little salt on top, hit it with that Salt Bae, and you're good to go. These should be good. Those came out great. I love the sear. First time for me actually using my griddle. And I tell you what, that baby gets hot. Got this done real quick. Killer Miller Q, I see you in a week. Stay tuned. I'll talk to you.